Friends, have you ever felt like you're running a race with invisible weights tied to your ankles? You're putting in the work, you have the passion, you have the dream, but something feels off. It's not a major crisis, not a tangible problem you can point to, but a slow, quiet leak in your energy. You might look in the mirror and see a flicker of your own light, but it feels dimmer than it should. You start a project with fire, and suddenly, a wave of inexplicable doubt washes over you. You find yourself stuck in a loop of minor misfortunes. A missed opportunity here, a misunderstanding there, a constant feeling of being just out of sync with your own life. In many cultures, this phenomenon has a name. Some call it the Valai, not as a spell cast by a villain, but as the heavy, unconscious energy of envy, of admiration that carries a sting, or even of your own success attracting a low frequency energy that clings to you like static. But I am here to tell you this is not a life sentence. This is not a sign of your weakness. It is in fact a sign of your light. The very notion that you could be affected by something like the evil eye can feel at first like a step backward. It can sound superstitious, a relic from a less enlightened time, something that belongs in the realm of old wives' tales, and not in the pragmatic, driven world we navigate every day. We are taught to believe in cause and effect, in business plans, in 5-year goals, in the tangible mechanics of success and failure. So, when a string of inexplicable misfortunes occurs, or a fog of lethargy descends without medical cause, or your own confidence suddenly shatters for no reason you can pinpoint, the modern mind immediately searches for a logical flaw. You think, I must not be working hard enough. My strategy is wrong. I am fundamentally lacking in some way. This self-blame is the first and most corrosive layer of the problem. It directs the search for a solution inward in the most destructive way possible, assuming a personal failing rather than an external influence. But what if we were to pause that cycle of self-recrimination and consider a different paradigm? What if we viewed the world not just as a collection of physical objects and logical events, but as a vast, shimmering sea of energy? This is not a mystical escape from reality. It is a lens through which many ancient cultures and increasingly aspects of modern physics view existence. Everything vibrates. Your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. Your ambitions and your joy are powerful, high-frequency transmissions. And envy, admiration laced with resentment, and even the casual, unconscious negativity of others are also forms of energy, often of a lower, heavier frequency. Now imagine a lighthouse, its beam cutting powerfully through a dark, stormy night. That light is undeniable. It is brilliant. It is a guide and a warning. It is also a magnet for every moth and insect in the vicinity. The lighthouse does not ask for this attention. It is simply being what it was built to be, luminous. The insects are not evil. They are simply drawn unconsciously to the light. This is a more useful metaphor for the dynamic we're discussing. You, in your pursuit of a better life, in your moments of joy, in your hard-won successes, you become that lighthouse. Your light, your promotion, your happy relationship, your new home, your creative talent is a powerful signal, and it can attract the moths of unconscious energy from others. This is not necessarily because people are maliciously wishing you harm. Often it is entirely unconscious. A friend hears your good news, and a part of them genuinely celebrates, but a smaller hidden part, perhaps grappling with their own insecurities, feels a pang of, why not me? That pang, that tiny fleeting spike of mixed energy is a real thing. It is an energy projectile, and if you are not shielded by your own conviction and self-worth, it can stick. This is why the most common times people report feeling these effects are during periods of positive transition or celebration after a wedding, before a big launch, at the birth of a child, upon buying a beautiful new car or house. It is precisely when your light is shining brightest that it is most visible, and therefore most likely to attract this kind of static. To feel a sudden crash after a high, a wave of doubt after a victory, is not a sign that you are fooling yourself or that you didn't deserve the success. It is often the energetic backlash of that success reverberating through the field of your relationships and your community. So, when you experience the symptoms, the fatigue that sleep doesn't cure, the inexplicable arguments, the sudden clumsiness and minor accidents, the feeling that you're swimming against an invisible current, please reframe the narrative. Stop interpreting it as, there is something wrong with me. Start understanding it as, my energy is so potent right now that it is creating interference. The very fact that you are sensitive enough to feel this drain is a testament to your own vibrational awareness. In a world that often feels numb, your ability to perceive these subtle shifts is not a weakness, it is a form of intelligence. It is your system telling you that the environment is not in alignment with your core frequency. Think of the most brilliant diamonds. They are formed under immense pressure and are valued for their ability to refract light. They are also incredibly dense and difficult to scratch. Your spirit, your journey, is not that of a fragile piece of glass easily shattered by a harsh look or a negative thought. You are in the process of becoming more like that diamond. The pressures you feel, the friction of this external energy is part of that process. It is forcing you to consolidate your own light, to define your boundaries more clearly, to become so solid in your self-definition that external glances, whether admiring or envious, simply glance off your finished surface. This is the ultimate empowerment to realize that the avalai is not an attack you suffer, but a testimony you have earned. It is the shadow proof of your own luminosity. The world does not waste its energy on those who play small, who hide in the corners, who dim their light to make others comfortable. The energy gathers around the ones who dare to shine, who dare to build, who dare to love openly, and who dare to succeed visibly. So the next time you feel that strange drain, that unexplained hiccup in your momentum, instead of shrinking, I want you to pause. I want you to place your hand on your heart and feel its steady rhythm. And I want you to ask yourself, not, what's wrong with me? But a far more powerful question. What is it about my light right now that is so powerful it demands this kind of reaction? The answer will not be found in a catalogue of your flaws, but in a celebration of your strengths. It will remind you of your new job, your loving family, your creative project, your personal growth. It will point you directly to the source of your own power. And in that recognition, you begin to reclaim it. It begins not with a crash, but with a whisper. A slight misfiring in the engine of your life that you can't quite diagnose. You wake up after 8 hours of sleep and still feel a profound weight in your limbs, a tiredness that seems to originate not in the body, but in the soul itself. Coffee doesn't touch it. A brisk walk feels like wading through syrup. This is the first and most common signal, a fatigue that is spiritual in nature. It's your inner system's primary alert, a low-grade siren indicating that your personal energy reserves are being siphoned, that your vibrant, self-sustaining frequency is being jammed by a foreign signal. It's the feeling of a battery that, no matter how long you leave it plugged in, never seems to reach a full charge because there's an unseen drain. This isn't laziness. It's your fundamental life force conserving energy, pulling back from the external world to focus on a core, internal defense. Then comes the domino effect of minor chaos. You spill your coffee not once, but 3 times in a morning. You get a flat tire on a road you've driven 1,000 times. A crucial email lands in your spam folder, or a simple miscommunication with a colleague spirals into a day-consuming drama. This is what we often dismiss as a string of bad luck. A day when everything seems to go wrong. But when this pattern persists, when the universe itself seems to be working against you in 1,000 tiny, paper-cut ways, it's time to look deeper. This isn't random. This is the manifestation of a spiritual mismatch. Your internal navigation system, your intuitive compass, is being scrambled. You are out of alignment with the flow of life, and so you keep bumping into the furniture of the universe. It's like trying to tune a radio to a clear station while someone is creating interference. All you get is static, and the beautiful music you know remains just out of reach. These small misfortunes are the static, the feedback the tangible proof that your connection to the harmonious flow of events has been disrupted. Perhaps the most insidious symptom is the sudden and utterly convincing voice of self-doubt. You were confident in a project yesterday, filled with ideas and momentum. Today, you look at the same work and a cold, critical voice in your head whispers, "Who are you kidding? You're not capable of this. It's going to fail, and everyone will see you for the fraud you are." This voice is cunning. It wears your own face. It uses your own internal language, but it does not originate from your core self. It is an echo, a psychic imprint of external noise, judgment, or envy that has managed to bypass your defenses and set up a broadcasting station within your own mind. It's the energy of another's unconscious resentment or your own fear of outshining your past self, masquerading as your own rational thought. This is the spiritual mismatch at its most dangerous, when it convinces you that the problem is not an external force affecting you, but your own inherent inadequacy. Your body, your environment, and your emotional state are not separate from your spiritual energy, they are its physical manifestations. A persistent, low-grade headache that has no medical cause, a sudden allergy or skin irritation, a feeling of being watched, or a sense of unease in your own home. These are not imaginary. They are the body's language for an energy it cannot process, a vibration it cannot harmonize with. Your home, which should feel like a sanctuary, might suddenly feel heavy, stagnant, or tense. Arguments with loved ones flare up over nothing, as if everyone is unconsciously reacting to the same dense, irritable energy that has settled over the group like a fog. This is the mismatch playing out in three-dimensional reality. It's a wake-up call written in the language of your daily life, a plea from your deeper being to become more mindful, more intentional, and to take action to clear the air, both literally and energetically. Understanding these signs as a spiritual mismatch, rather than a curse or personal failing, is the most critical step toward reclaiming your power. It moves you from a position of victimhood, "Why is this happening to me?" to a position of agency, "What is happening around me, and how do I recalibrate?" This reframe is everything. It's the difference between lying on the ground, stunned by a blow, and standing up, assessing the landscape, and adjusting your course. Your fatigue is not a sentence to inactivity. It is an instruction to rest, to go inward, and to engage in practices that replenish your core energy, not just distract you from your depletion. Your bad luck is not proof of the universe's malice. It is a signal to slow down, to be more present and deliberate with your actions, to double-check your work, and to reaffirm your intentions. Your self-doubt is not the truth of your being. It is static on the line, and your task is not to argue with the static, but to retune the dial back to the clear, strong frequency of your own inner wisdom and proven capability. This perspective transforms you from a passenger on a turbulent flight to the pilot who understands the instruments. You may not be able to control the weather, but you can absolutely adjust your altitude, find a smoother air current, and navigate your way back to clear skies. The signs are not your enemy. They are your dashboard warning lights, and they are there to guide you home to yourself.